In Chapter 1 of the Lookbook text, the author goes through some of the people involved in creating a website. And on page 11, you will see that project managers will be one of the people involved. And so for this assignment, I want you to get a little bit of experience of how a project manager needs to break up a big project into tasks, and a little bit of experience of entering those tasks into Microsoft Project so you can estimate cost. Figure 1.1 on page 11 shows an example of a task list. It's a hierarchical list, and in this figure we have costs and duration. So as you can see, if you use this tool, you may get a good idea of possible costs for a project and how long it will take to complete. In Chapter 2 of the same text, on page 22, the author lists building a project plan as one of the things you may do in phase 1 of website design. In this example, she is introducing terms like Gantt chart and dependencies and milestones. For this assignment, we are primarily looking at breaking up into tasks and seeing how the costs work. So here I have completed part of a website design project in Microsoft Project. I want you to notice, first of all, the hierarchy. This here is the name of the project itself. I simply called it New Website. And this will be the only item at the top of this hierarchy. Everything else you should have indented. So here are some subtasks I grabbed out of the textbook: planning phase and design phase. And in the planning phase, I wrote a couple of subtasks for that phase. Next, you will see the resource names column. So I added this column. This is what is called a custom table. And the only resources I added to this project is a resource I titled Me. So for your project, think of me as being you. So I'm going to give you a copy of this data file to get started. Notice this is indented, so these are subtasks of the planning phase. I added durations and I added the start time. Both of these end up being calculated. Finish will look at the start time plus the duration. If this exceeded 8 hours, this would have went to 6/6. Okay? If this would have been 24 hours, project would have calculated that and added 3 days to it. The resource is being paid $25 per hour. So for 4 hours, defining a site goal will cost $100. Notice then that these three will sum up. So the total of this is 400. I would not need to add 400 here because the task is the sum of the cost of the subtasks. So you will notice the most outermost, the highest level task, New Website, is actually the sum of 400 and $925. So only put data in the lowest level subtasks and the rest of it will be calculated for you. So here is Microsoft Project, and I have the file website design project.mpp I'm going to make available to you. And what I have, if I come over to the view, I'm going to change the view to the resource sheet, and you will see I've added one resource. I called it Me, and the standard is 25. If you want to put overtime, you can do that. It will calculate overtime. If someone's rushing you to get finished and you need to work over 8 hours a day, Project will automatically calculate that for you. So coming back to what's called the Gantt chart, this is a table. I've customized this table to include resource name and cost. And this is the Gantt chart over here, and we're not going to pay much attention to the Gantt chart. So I'm going to start by adding New Website as a task name. And I'm going to add the subtask, and the subtask was the planning phase. That's all I need to do for this subtask because it's going to be broken into more subtasks. But you don't see the hierarchy yet. What you will need to do is, with that subtask selected, notice there is an outdent and an indent. I'm going to indent this subtask. Let's do that again for the remaining subtasks. So these subtasks under planning phase, I have define site goal, market research, define target audience, Now you should feel this data entry is very much like entering into an Excel worksheet. I'm going to select those 3 and do another indent. Now these are the lowest level subtasks. So here I'm going to add the resources names. Just select it. Okay, put a check there. And me is going to be working on it. Next, estimate your days. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and remove these. And let me enter my duration. It's assuming a 1-day duration by default, even though I haven't entered it. But let me say it's only 4 hours. H for hours. That's all you need to do. If you wanted something to be 1 day, 1 D for day. Okay. And let's say I'm going to start the first day of the semester. So let's say we're going to start on that date. And notice it automatically calculated that date. Let's say I'm not going to start market research until the 7th. And then I'm going to do the next day for that task. So continue adding your tasks. I will add the next phase, which is the design phase. Okay, now this one needs to be outdent. And then I'll add determining content requirements. Okay, and that's going to be indented. I think you get the idea of how this hierarchy works. So here's what I want you to do for this project. So I'm back to the LOPIC text, and in chapter 2 she separates it into phases. So you need to decide on what your tasks and your subtasks are going to be. And you're new to this. I know you're new to this. Try your best. So you could look through the textbook. I suggest maybe looking through the table of contents. Or you can look at the assignments I've posted to give you an idea and follow that. But what I want you to do is include all phases of the project and complete a project. Estimate your time. I know you're not sure how long things will take. Just to get an estimate of when the project will be completed. And of course, maybe you want to just go by how this course is set up, which is an 8-week course and ends at the end of July for your time frame. And an estimate of the cost. Have fun doing that.